Today we are talking about the Speedy Stitcher from Zelikovitz Leathers and ZeliSTORE.com, a must for every toolbox. This is great for sewing lock stitches in leather, canvas, and other heavyweight materials. Now the kit includes a Speedy Stitcher, and you can see it has a chuck mechanism which is very good and very strong. And inside you get a spool of waxed polyester thread, coarse thread, and 2 needles. We have a heavy-duty straight needle and a heavy-duty curve needle, and there's a handy storage space for those. We'll put the curve needle there for now. Now this is how you load your the stitcher. We're going to put the straight needle in, and you'll notice that there is a groove in the needle. We want to line that groove up with the groove in the stitcher, and then we'll thread the eye of the needle. And be careful because this point is very sharp. And then we will thread the chuck back on. Make sure everything is lined up. And that is all you have to do to load your Speedy Stitcher once you get your tool. Okay, now we're going to sew 2 pieces of vegetable tan leather. So what we want to do is we want to put the stitcher, just twist it through the leather, pull back a little bit, it'll loosen up for us, and there we go. We want to pull the thread. We want to pull the thread through the leather. So what we want to do is, if we want to have a little bit more thread than length. So if we were doing, let's say, 12 inches, we would pull out 14 inches, and all you basically do is pull the thread out. Now we'll go into the next hole, and you simply pull back a little bit. It makes a natural loop. Go through the loop, pull back through both pieces, work your way through the next hole, pull back a little bit, and with a little bit of practice you can get quite good at this. You want to make sure when you pull the thread back through that the knot is in the middle of the 2 pieces of leather. Let's get a close-up here of the actual loop. See if you can see when you pull back how that thread gives you a natural loop, and then we thread it and pull it back through. Now you can see how, by using the Speedy Stitcher from Zelikovitz Leathers and ZeliSTORE.com, how nicely you can do a lock stitch on any piece of leather. Now let me show you some of the options that are available for the Speedy Stitcher. There are additional straight needles and curve needles that are available, just like the ones that come with the Speedy Stitcher, so that you can replace them. But then there's this narrow, thin needle, and with this needle you can do some very interesting things. For example, we could use a regular thread. Now, I'll just show you how we can rethread the stitcher. I'm going to remove the back. How easy it is. Pull the thread out, and we will put the coarse thread on the side. Now this is kind of neat. You'll notice in the back of the stitcher there's a hole, so we can just put the thread through the hole, and then through the hole here in the stitcher. and replace the back. Just as we would normally thread the Speedy Stitcher, we're going to put the number 4S, which is the fine thread. Make sure that the groove lines up. We can put our thumbnail in there. Okay, we will wrap around the tension tack and feed through the front and then in through the needle, the eye of the needle, like that, and through the chuck. There we go. Now you have to make sure that everything lines up, all the grooves line up. There we go. So the grooves are lining up. Pull our thread through and make sure the chuck is nice and tight. So now we have the Speedy Stitcher loaded with regular sewing thread. This is number CBB 69, which is used for upholstery. I've got a piece of very thin leather here, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to stitch. So again, we're going to just push the stitcher through the leather, pull the thread through, and again we pull a little bit more thread through than we would need. Now we move over. This makes this tool very versatile by being able to use various thread widths or thicknesses. And I'll just do a few stitches here and then show you. You can see how easy it is. It's a very sharp needle, goes through leather quite easily. It'll go through canvas and fabrics as well. It's like a portable sewing machine. There, and I'll just give you a look. You can see the lock stitch that we're getting from that. And that's how you use the Speedy Stitcher with regular thread. Now the Speedy Stitcher already comes with two needles for using with coarse thread, the straight and the curved needle, as well as a pre-wound spool of 30 feet of the coarse wax polyester thread. Also available from ZeliSTORE.com are additional straight needles and curved needles to replace your needle should you break them, and we also have a fine needle for doing fine work and using other sizes of threads. Also available are 180 yard spools of the fine and the coarse thread, and we have the 30 yard skeins of the coarse and the fine thread available as well. And we do stock and carry extra spools if you wanted to pre-wind any additional threads. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and check it out more interesting and exciting items for leathercraft at Zelikovitz Leathers and ZeliSTORE.com.